Series champions.
Adolis García.
And the legend grows! The Rangers are the World Series champions.
Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series! From Arlington, Texas, welcome to the MLB on Fox pregame presented by Geico. Marquee matchup for the weekend across baseball. The last two champions, the 2023 champ Texas Rangers and the defending champ Los Angeles Dodgers. The middle game in a three-game series after the Dodgers took the opener 3-0 last night. We welcome you inside. Hope you're having a great weekend. That's the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. I'm Joe Davis. So Texas Rangers, I mean, glass half empty. They're not hitting it all, but the glass half full. They're still finding a way to win games. The pitching's been awesome.
It has. Last year, kind of everything went wrong. This year, the West is wide open. A lot of people think the Rangers are the team to beat, and mainly because of that pitching. They've been really, really good. They've added two young pitchers to the rotation, a healthy Jacob deGrom, and of course tonight's starter Uvalde is one of the best. So the Rangers have been good on the mound, not so good at the plate.
Yeah, and Bruce Bochy keeps saying we're gonna hit, and the reason is the guys that they have track records of hitting throughout their careers.
He said he would do cartwheels knowing that he's in first place with these kind of numbers. These kind of numbers will not continue. He's confident of that, and when they start hitting and combine it with that really good pitching, they're going to be tough to beat.
Bochy's club last year was the first one, or the most recent one, to feel what it's like to be the defending champion trying to repeat. It's not happened since the Yankees at the turn of the century. On the other side, the Dodgers are trying to snap that skid, and a lot of people think they're the team to do it.
I've never seen a team get that much better after winning a championship like the Dodgers did. They went out, and what did they do? They spend, and they spent a lot on pitching. Their depth now, they had a lot of beat-up starters last year, not so much now because they have 8 or 9 to choose from. Tonight's starter is one of those wild cards, Sasaki. I think he's got a chance, and the upside is so good. He hasn't thrown enough strikes so far, and they're kind of waiting for him to get acclimated to this style of baseball. Watch what happens to him in the second half.
Yeah, much better his last 2 times out. Walked everybody first couple games, but signs of progress for the 23-year-old from Japan. Couple defending champs, couple first-place teams facing off here. The Texas Rangers and the former Dodger Corey Seager won MVP in the World Series for both these teams, and last year's star Freddie Freeman. Dodgers and Rangers head-to-head on Fox. Back in Texas, ready for baseball. Well, the Rangers have been so good so far this season at 9-2 at Globe Life Field. Marcus Semien and the boys trying to even this series up at a game apiece. We're getting close to the first pitch. Before we do, we go down to the field. Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Shohei Ohtani out of the lineup a second straight day. He's with his wife, Mamiko, who is due to give birth to their first child. The third and final day of Ohtani's stint on the paternity list would be tomorrow. The Dodgers made a move earlier, activating Evan Phillips and placing Blake Treinen on the injured list with forearm tightness. Treinen is headed for an MRI, but the Dodgers do not believe the injury to be serious. And finally, Roki Sasaki, making his 5th Major League start. He told me yesterday that his delivery was much more in sync in his last 2 outings. His opponent today, the Texas Rangers, well, they were one of the teams that wanted him badly last offseason. Joe?
All right, Kenny, everybody lined up for Sasaki, chose the Dodgers, and gets ready for his 5th start today. The lineup for his team will look like this. With no Shohei Ohtani, it's Tommy Edman, who stepped into that leadoff spot yesterday and started the game with a home run against Jacob deGrom. A couple former MVPs follow him, and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Tasker Hernandez made his case on a 1-year contract last year, parlayed that into a long-term deal with LA. Conforto's in left field hitting 5th. Will Smith is off to a fantastic start as the catcher out of the 6th spot. Then it's Muncy, Eddie Rosario, and Andy Pages, with Rosario getting the call up with Ohtani away. Dave Roberts looks over there at his old manager Bruce Bochy, and we take a look at today's same-game parlay, available now on FanDuel. You need Freddie Freeman and Corey Seager both to record an RBI. And Adolis García is off to a good start for the Rangers to get a hit. Yeah, you'd be a winner. For the Rangers today, it'll be Nathan Eovaldi, who we saw, John, during that World Series run a couple years ago, put this team on his back, went 5-0 during the postseason. He's back on a 3-year extension, and he's off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, he is. He dominated a game in Cincinnati, went the distance, 1-0. He's a strike thrower, doesn't walk many people. Even though his velocity might be down, look for that 4-pitch split. You don't know what's coming, and he can command the ball on both sides of the plate. So the Rangers armed and ready to maybe make another deep run.
Yeah, 9 strikeouts on opening day, and then you mentioned the complete game shutout, second start of the season. 1-2 with a 2.55 as he gets ready to face off with Tommy Edman and these Dodgers. Or did you have Tommy Edman leading the National League in home runs almost at the end of the first month?
No, I didn't, but he led off the game with a home run and replacing Ohtani. And this guy does it all. That's why the Dodgers wanted him as bad as they did. He can play multiple positions, and he's a tough out at the plate.
Dodgers got Tommy Edman from the St. Louis Cardinals at the deadline last year. Didn't even make his season debut until mid-August. He was recovering from a couple different injuries. Showed some flashes during the regular season. Then during the postseason was huge for him. He's the NLCS MVP. And a guy, like you said, they had their eyes on for a long time. They get in the trade, shows his stuff, and gets a 5-year deal, so a long-term Dodger. Dodgers have won 4 in a row. They're 15-6. Half game back of the Padres for the best record in the West and for the best record in baseball. Texas 12-8. First place in the American League West. And a game back of the Yankees for the best record in the AL. Dodgers 3-0 in the first game of this series behind Yamamoto last night. 10 Ks over 7 scoreless. Off we go in game 2 with a fastball outside. Ball 1 on Edman. Tied with Kyle Schwarber for the National League lead. 7 home runs. Takes upstairs ahead 2-0.
Does seem different when Ohtani's not leading off for the Dodgers. He's been such an incredible weapon. At the top of their lineup, as you well know, does all of their damage so far.
And home runs have done all the damage. They're middle of the pack when it comes down base percentage, when it comes to batting average, but they lead the majors in home runs and have outslugged any of those issues.
Down, you can get most hitters out. There's the highest percentage of home runs, but down and in off the plate is how you get Tommy Edman out. Middle to up, he's going to have success.
There you go. Down with the splitter for a strikeout to start Eovaldi's day. Splitter's making a comeback, John Smoltz.
Oh, it's making a comeback, and we'll see a lot of them. 2 different variations from 2 different pitchers, but that's that splitter that has changed the career of Nathan Eovaldi. And the reason that splitter's so successful is because he throws his fastball down. He can pitch up, but he'd rather pitch down to utilize that pitch.
His old Red Sox teammate, Mookie Betts, has won a championship together in Boston in 2018. He's down the middle with a fastball for a strike. For Mookie Betts this year, it's been a grind from the start. He got sick right before the team left for Japan, dropped 15 to 20 pounds, sapped him of his strength. So he's scratched and clawed just to get back to baseline. Dave Roberts was saying before the game today, it's amazing. You look and see what a grind it's been, and then you look at the numbers, and he's still got an OPS up in all-star territory. Kind of quietly going about his business. Sandwiched between the 2 MVPs around him, and Ohtani and Freeman. And back at shortstop full-time. A jump that he made last year. And eventually moved off as shortstop after the injury, but he's given it another shot. Unprecedented move. A guy going from a perennial Gold Glover and all-star in right field at this stage of his career, moving to the most difficult spot on the diamond. On this 2-1, takes it inside, ball 3.
That's a rare 3-ball count. The first time through the lineup, Nathan Eovaldi has not walked a batter. He's only walked 2 on the season, so 3-ball counts to hitters this season have been rare.
Bouncing ball to Josh Young. 2 up, 2 down. I got a little preview of that Texas defense behind Nathan Eovaldi today. The rest of it looks like this. The rookie Dustin Harris gets another start in left field. Wyatt Langford expected to be activated tomorrow. Taveras in center and Adolis García in right. Young and Seager on the left side. Simeon and Josh Smith, who makes his second career start at first base. And Kyle Higashioka sharing the catching duties with Jonah Heim behind the plate today. Freddie Freeman, World Series MVP last year. Fouls back to first pitch.
He's not afraid to go after the first pitch, and he's not afraid to swing at the ball down. But you can't get Freddie Freeman out the same way every single time. That's why he's one of the league's best left-handed hitters.
Eovaldi's shaken a couple times to get to this. In there for strike two.
So now here's where you can throw a low breaking ball, try to get him to swing at that back foot if you want.
Splitter down, 1-2.
Well, the splitter ended up in that back foot area, but it didn't have the trajectory he wanted going away from him on the outside part of the plate.
Eovaldi rocks and fires and strikes him out. Just a straight fastball cutting in there. And bookend K's on a 1-2-3 first. Rangers come to bat against Sasaki after this. Spochu, who with a win would move past Dusty Baker for 6th on the all-time list. He's hoping his offense can get going. This is how they line up today with Josh Smith back in there for the first time since Sunday. He's been dealing with a thumb issue. Adolis García bats clean up. Jock Peterson slides down to hit 5th as he tries to end the 0-4 forever. Josh Young 6th. Harris, Higashioka, and Taveras to round things out against the 23-year-old phenom from Japan, Roki Sasaki, who struggled in his first 2 games, but his last 2 against good lineups. A run over 4 innings in Philadelphia, and then a run over 5 innings against what has been the top offense in baseball this year in the Cubs. His first pitch today is a little high to Marcus Simeon. So what have you seen so far from Sasaki?
Well, there's a lot to like, and the one thing that needs improvement, there's probably all revolves around strikes and strike throwing.
Cracked to right center field. Teoscar Hernandez is there for the first shot.
But the biggest thing that he has going for him is that split finger fastball is devastating. But until he can throw enough strikes, that means first pitch strikes, 2 of the first 3 pitches, controlling the strike zone. Then hitters will start chasing his forkball. They're not going to do it until he shows that improvement. That'll come with time. And I think in the second half, you're going to see a totally different pitcher.
Corey Seager's going through one of those stretches where there is no better hitter on the planet. Cranks this ball in the air to left center field. Pages going back at the wall. He makes the grab. Andy Pages over the wall to steal a home run. It's the second time that Andy Pages has robbed a home run over the last week and a half.
This was about as smooth as it gets. No big deal. Almost had an issue with his left fielder. You know how I feel about the height of these walls. I think it's perfect. And it's one of the most exciting plays in the game.
Looking like an old John Smoltz during BP out there. 2 outs. Josh Smith, strike 1. Andy Pages, who has struggled at the plate so far in his second season in the major leagues. He's struggled defensively too, but a couple big-time highlight plays. Took a grand slam away from Michael Busch of the Cubs last weekend. And it takes a home run away from the former Dodger Corey Seager right here. Josh Smith has been a bright spot. Continuation of last year where a lot of the Rangers had downturns offensively. Josh Smith won a Silver Slugger, his first real opportunity. And this year with the offense struggling collectively, there's Smith hitting .342. He's missed the last 4 days, injured his thumb, got jammed on Sunday against Seattle. Said it basically went numb on him. Back in there today at first base.
See, there's the pitch right there that I would look for improvement. He doesn't have to throw 98, but when you throw that pitch right there and follow it up by that forkball, hard for the hitter to lay off that last height of the pitch like that. That's a great pitch, great side of the plate, more consistency with that type of combination, hitters are going to have a hard time staying off. You see the tumbling effect. It's one of the best forkballs in the game.
Here comes the payoff. Got him swinging. Went to the slider, which he's bringing along. Andy Pages over the wall to rob Seager of a home run and keep this a scoreless game after 1. This is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Step up to the plate for savings. Franchise that started in Washington as the Senators in the 60s, moved to Texas in the 70s, won their first championship 2 years ago. Bruce Bochy's first year as the manager. No score, second inning, and Tasker Hernandez chops Nathan Eovaldi's first pitch foul. Hernandez 33 home runs in his first season with the Dodgers last year, going into free agency because it was a 1-year contract. And the fans made it clear they wanted him back at the World Series parade. They were chanting, "Bring back Teo, bring back Teo." And then the Dodgers did on a 3-year deal.
Well, he's come up with some huge hits and obviously some huge home runs, but a lot of swing and miss early in the season, maybe just a little bit off. That breaking ball right there has been a big kryptonite for him. And now he strikes out without even getting to see the third pitch.
Wow. That's quick. I mean, sometimes see the pitch clock violations like that, but that typically comes after a delay of a guy standing out and taking his time. And
I've been with you. I thought that was super quick. He's got to look at the pitcher, and he did, but the umpire seeing the.
You have to be attentive to the pitcher by 8 seconds on the pitch clock. Home plate umpire Mark Ripperger said that he wasn't, so that's how Eovaldi gets his second K. Think how many strikeouts you would have had in your career.
Man, that would have been fun.
Jeez. 3 of the first 4 hitters down on strikes. Now it's Michael Conforto. The Dodgers would love to follow the Tasker Hernandez path of last year, which was come in on a 1-year contract, a guy with a track record, but it had been a bit since he performed. And rediscover it, because this guy was one of the top young hitters in the National League back with the Mets. Lifts this ball to left field. On comes Dustin Harris. Yeah, Eovaldi's retired the first 5.
Well, that's what he's been doing this year, getting ahead early, getting a lot of outs. And if you're going to get him, you got to get him in the first 3 innings. After that, his ERA gets way better. I know it's a short time so far in the start of the season. We're in that in-between stage.
Yeah, what do you look at?
You look at last year, do you look at this year? And some guys are getting off to horrible starts, some on fire, but there's still a track record to each guy.
Speaking of on fire, this guy right here, Will Smith, hitting .346, top 5 in the National League.
I mean, there's so much psychology to getting off to a good start in the big leagues. You know it's a long season. I was a guy that wanted cushion. Give me some early success so it buys you cushion for when you know the streaks are coming. And the streaks come. Right now, on the other side, Jock Peterson's in one of those horrid streaks that you think you're never going to get out of. 0 for his last 36.
36 with no cushion to balance
cushion.
it out. I mean, 0 for 36, no matter when you have it, is horrible, but you can look past it a little easier when you got a few months of, I like your word, cushion.
Yeah.
3-0 on Will Smith. Eovaldi comes back home. The Dodger catcher takes a strike. On the 3-1, Smith golfs it to right center. Garcia and Taveras. It's Leody Taveras. That thing hangs up there forever and comes down to finish off a 9-pitch inning for Eovaldi. It's Adolis García to start the second for the Rangers against Roki Sasaki. Retired the side in order in the first. First pitch of the second is a fastball smoked up the middle to a perfectly positioned Tommy Edman, and 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, the last pitch of the first inning is one of the pitches that Dave Roberts is going to love to see. And this breaking ball is going to be huge if he can hit with that a little bit more often, because then you've got a pitch going away from a lefty and a one going in. So that breaking ball, an upgrade, will help. And I'm going to make a prediction here. There's no way he doesn't swing at the first pitch here.
Always aggressive and trying anything. Oh my gosh, you went out there on the limb and the thing snapped off and you're tumbling and falling.
0 for 36. I wonder if he took it because his previous hitter swung at the first pitch and made it out. But I thought when you're 0 for 36 and you get in a fastball, you'd come out of his shoes, and he didn't.
0 for 36, 3 for 53 to begin his time with the Texas Rangers. And an 0-1 from Sasaki. He takes it outside. He said that whatever the opposite of feeling free at the plate is, that's how I'm feeling right now. You can imagine not just the 0 for 36, but it coming not only without the cushion, but without any cushion at all with your new team, trying to make an impression on this new club. 1-2.
And that's bigger deal than the 0 for 36. He's not unaccustomed to making moves and playing for different teams. He's done that a lot over the last 5 years. It's just this kind of start with a new team.
Chases, strike 3. Splitter gets him. And for more on Jock Peterson, down to Kenny.
Joe, I talked to Jock yesterday, and he said he feels badly about two things. One, that he's let the fans down. There was a lot of excitement around his arrival. And two, he's let his teammates down with poor situational hitting. But he's Jock Peterson, and he said, I've hit for 10 years. I'm going to hit. It's what I do.
Coming up on his 33rd birthday on Monday. 12 years in the big league. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 on Josh Young. Started him with a slider. You know, funny way last night's game finished. Young bounced into a double play with the Rangers threatening against Tanner Scott. And Young stopped running on a ball that was hit down the line. Argued that he thought it was fair, which it may have been some gray area there. But Bruce Bochy was saying what he really was upset about was the third base umpire, Nick Marley, throws his hands up here.
He throws them up, and then last second goes fair. And yeah, I can see that. I mean, the moral of the story obviously is always run, but you could see why the confusion when you're staring at that line of where you hit the ball.
Chopper, Muncy picks it on a backhand, and Muncy made 2 tremendous plays in the 9th inning last night. Makes one right there. Roki Sasaki 6 up, 6 down on 17 pitches.
Welcome back to Globe Life Field. Scoreless game. Dave Roberts, Dodgers manager. Dave, so far, Roki Sasaki, what have you seen?
Roki looks good. You know, obviously, you know, those guys coming out swinging, aggressive approach. And I think with Roki having to split that weapon in his back pocket, having a team that's aggressive is a good thing. And right now, the split is a strike. He shortens it when he needs to. He's filling up the strike zone with the fastball. So a lot of good things so far.
I understand we have some news on Shohei Ohtani and his wife, Mamiko.
We got some good news, Kenny. Shohei and Mamiko just had a baby girl. So we don't know the name yet, but I think all of the world, the baseball world, the Dodger family is so excited for Shohei and Mamiko. So congratulations, Sho.
Dave, thanks a lot. Congratulations, Shohei. Joe, back to you.
Thank you for making us very nervous yet super anxious parents. Shohei said. Max Muncy leads off this 3rd inning. No base runners in this game for either side as Muncy fouls it off. Asked Tommy Edman after the game yesterday when he was the featured guest in the postgame show, what advice do you have for Shohei becoming a first-time father? And he said, hey, he's going to be great at it, but I know Shohei loves his sleep, so he might have to budge on that a little bit. Shohei gets like 12 hours a night. 1-2 on Muncy. Now Muncy off to a bit of a slow start this season, but has shown some signs the last few days. He's reached base 8 times the last 4 games, and his defense key in yesterday's win and a nice play already today. Now this 1-2 from Evaldi. Muncy goes up there and fouls it off.
Well, defensively, he is holding his own, and you talk about those plays. They were key because with runners on, that eliminates the rally, and of course the rally killer in between hops. Always a tough one for the third baseman. It's usually known as the hot corner, but he's had to play some pretty tricky hops the last 3 chances. And talking to Dave Roberts, as long as Max Muncy keeps getting on base and walks, he thinks the homers are going to come. Again, to that cushion. No homers yet, and the team leads all of baseball in homers without Max Muncy, which is a great sign for the Dodgers.
Guy that is top 10 in franchise history with 190 home runs since putting on Dodger blue in 2018. Swings and misses at a splitter, and Eovaldi's got his 4th K. Suit up this season at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, hoodies, t-shirts, and more. Go to MLBshop.com, the official source for your favorite team gear. 7 up, 7 down, 4 Ks. Here's Eddie Rosario. Made his Dodger debut yesterday with Ohtani away. Dodgers happy to not have him on the other side. Single-handedly almost ended their 2021 season. A team that won 106 games, then goes and faces Eddie Rosario's Braves in the championship series. And Rosario went 14 for 25 with 3 home runs and knocked the Dodgers out on the way to winning it all. He's got his first base hit as a Dodger. They saw a lot of that on the other side, and he smokes a line drive and is the first base runner of the game.
Well, 2 guys in this stadium had a big part for that Braves. Jock Peterson and Rosario. I've never seen any guys in my life lock in the time that he did. Looked like a balloon up there, and he kept hitting it and led the Braves to a World Series championship. He never sees a pitch he doesn't want to swing at. Yeah. And when he gets locked in, it's amazing to watch. And the flip side could happen.
He's so aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his first at bat as a Dodger last night, he swung at the first pitch, flied out to center field. He's a very exciting player to watch. The boom or bust style. Sandy Pages strides in a scoreless 3rd inning. Well, in the plus-minus department, he's +1, taking a home run away from Corey Seager. Punches a bouncer to second, 4, 6. Not in time. Oh. Bang, bang over there at first, but Pages legs it out, and a fielder's choice.
Just a fraction on the turn. It was kind of an awkward position for Simeon to deliver the ball to Seager, and that's all it takes. See, he gets it right here, and just that little short turn. As the second baseman, you try to position yourself in an angle so that when you catch the ball, it's an easier flip to second.
Ball on Tommy Edman. Strikeout victim his first time. 3 out of 4 yesterday, including that first inning home run against Jacob deGrom. A switch hitter that used to be, just barely bat to ball, and very little punch from this side of the plate. So far this year, though, this has been where he's been a monster after putting in a lot of work on this side of the plate in the offseason. More upright in his swing.
And taking care of the middle of the strike zone, really middle to up. His vulnerable down, as you saw, the first strikeout of the game was that pitch down, but inside and up. I mean, inside and down is where you want to get him, and he tried to paint a fastball in there off the plate. See that cutter just inside it under the elbow.
Been using that pitch a bunch so far today, has Eovaldi. Grounded to second to wrap up a 3rd scoreless inning for Nathan Eovaldi. Tonight's game wraps up. Got a great matchup coming from Houston, the Birmingham Stallions and the Roughnecks. And then tomorrow, San Antonio battles conference-leading DC. Live football all weekend right here on Fox. Dustin Harris leads off against Roki Sasaki, who spins in a slider for a strike. Harris making a great impression this week, getting an opportunity with Wyatt Langford down. In 6 games, he's hitting .400. 2 hits, including a double yesterday. Langford expected back tomorrow as these Rangers get closer to full strength and try to get this offense going. Look down at the very bottom of the offensive leaderboard. You got the White Sox and the Rockies, and then the Texas Rangers. One team that doesn't seem like it belongs down in that group. Splitters in, and it's 1-2.
No, a couple years ago they were a quick strike, big inning type offense. They feasted off of those crooked numbers that they could put up at any time. A lot of power. And this year out of the gate has been really, really slow. And we got another time violation.
So that is on Sasaki. Evens the count at 2-2. Bouncing ball along first that will stay foul. And Kenny, that's been one of the hurdles for him, one of the big adjustments coming to the big leagues. Huh?
Yes, Joe, and I asked Sasaki yesterday, what is the most difficult part of your transition? He said adjusting to the pitch clock and adjusting to pitch com. Now the pitch clock, obviously we saw the issue there, and he receives the pitch com commands in English, and he's fine with that. But the difficulty is that he's limited in the number of times he can shake off. So what he said is that he's learned to communicate better and be more proactive with his catchers before games.
Here comes with the 2-2 to Harris. Very high, and it may be like, whoa, how much English does he speak? Well, a lot of the communication in Japan, they use the English words for the pitches, so it's not like he's having to learn new words to take the calls in English. Wrapped around the plate, that's ball 4. And the first base runner for Texas. Those walks were the big issue the first couple games for Sasaki. 9 walks his first 2 games, only 4 of them the last 2. Still comes in with the highest walk rate in baseball as Higashioka climbs in.
With the way that the Rangers are going right now, we talk about the bottom of the lineup being not so good for the Dodgers in their averages because the top heavy part of their lineup is so good. Well, Corey Seager's only come up with runners in scoring position 8% of his at-bats. That has to change, and of course big part of that is he's batting in the second spot, which analytically that's what everybody is trying to prove, the value of your best hitter batting in the second spot. But if Simeon doesn't turn it around, Bruce Bochy will not be afraid to move his lineup to adjust for his best hitter to get more RBI opportunities.
Of course, you don't want to be reactive, right? You're 20 games into the season, but at what point have you seen enough where you do have to make a change?
Well, yeah, if the current stats that I just read stay there in 30 games, you have to make the change. You've got to get him down in the lineup, give more chances for runners to get on in front of him, and hope that the bottom of your lineup continues to do well.
That ball's hit hard to deep left field. Conforto's going back, and Higashioka gets it just over his glove for a home run. Conforto that close to bringing it back. The Rangers can exhale as Higashioka hits his first home run in a Texas uniform.
Another close one, and if he'd have been back just a little bit quicker, he would have been able to get more height on that jump. And a sneaky signing here for the Rangers, picking up this young man for obviously his catching skills, but now his hitting.
Career high 17 home runs in his lone season in San Diego last year, and continued it into the postseason. Signed a 2-year contract. Really a nice catching duo that they have here between Kyle Higashioka, Jonah Heim. Leody Taveras bounces one along to second, and Tommy Edman for the first out.
That pitch is middle, and didn't have late life on that fastball. Had a lot of carry going on.
Back to the top and Simeon. It takes a strike. Sasaki's second home run that he's allowed his last 2 starts. He gave up a total of 3 the last 2 years in Japan. Dominant 4 seasons there. To third and Muncy. Had 2 ERA over his 4 years. And started that career as a 19-year-old. So a big-time hyped prospect. Could have gone anywhere. Narrowed his list down to 8 teams for in-person meetings, and then ultimately chose the Dodgers over the Padres, and a chance to link up with his favorite player, Yu Darvish.
I wouldn't throw a first pitch fastball here.
To Seager. He didn't.
We watched a record-breaking performance for Seager via the walk in the postseason. One of the most incredible statistics for a guy who rarely walks.
Yeah.
And he could, in 4 at-bats, see 6 pitches and still do damage.
1 ball, 1 strike. Hitting .545 over the last week. That includes his 100th home run in a Texas uniform. 1-2.
Well, he has that unique ability with an open stance. He closes but hunts for the baseball. I mean, that's why he's so aggressive early. Puts the pitcher on notice. Everybody knows he's a first pitch attack. And that's what made the impressive run that he had in the postseason, where obviously the teams were pitching around him and he just didn't get selfish and gave up a lot of at-bats for the walks, and it helped the Rangers go on to win the World Series.
Joined quite a list as guys with multiple World Series MVPs: Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson, Reggie Jackson, Corey Seager. Won it for the Dodgers in this ballpark in 2020, and then the 23 run that you're talking about. On a 2-2 from Sasaki. Takes ball 3. Babyface kid that came up with the Dodgers, first-round draft pick. Going to turn 31 in a little more than a week. Eighth pitch coming here. Seager takes ball 4. Second walk of the inning. Well, last season his velocity had dipped a little bit. And talking about Sasaki, from where it had been early on in his career in Japan, it's way down today. 3.5 miles per hour from where he's averaged this season. It's a guy who was hitting 99 his first couple of years in pro ball.
Yeah, and I tell you, I think a little bit of that is obviously adrenaline, making the adjustment, trying to be nasty. And I'd like a combination of maybe a little less velocity for more command, with the ability to ramp it back up if you had to.
Change speeds up.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, I think you can do that. I mean, when he trusts he can throw his forkball over the middle of the plate and let it just do what it does, he's going to be so much better than trying to paint it away. Because you could tell that in trying to miss the barrel of the bat, he's trying to make perfect pitches, right? Instead of realizing that these hitters are human and they can swing over the middle of the plate down with movement.
Punches short. Mookie Betts to the bag to finish off this 3rd inning. Rangers get their first base runners and get the game's first runs after the Harris walk. Kyle Higashioka with his first home run as a Ranger. 2-0 Texas after 3. Mookie Betts starts the 4th for the Dodgers. 6 curve for a strike from Nathan Eovaldi. Only 1 base runner for LA so far. Betts, Freeman, and Tasker Hernandez coming up as Eovaldi kicks and throws. Betts lifts fly ball to center field. A big swing, but a little dunk shot and a base hit to open the 4th. Hit him with the 8.
That's one of the toughest reads for a center fielder. Straight on swing and a big swing that doesn't produce the kind of velocity off the bat. And Tavares just could not read it. Here's the big swing, but then right off the end of the bat. You cannot see that as a center fielder, that ball's gone off the end of the bat. See how he goes back? And it's too late to cover that ground to come in.
Leadoff man aboard, Freddie Freeman up. And Freddie Freeman made one of the great heel turns that we've ever seen last year. This guy couldn't even get the ball out of the infield the first couple rounds of the postseason. His ankle was bothering him so bad he injured his rib. We didn't even know if he'd be on the active roster for the World Series. And we all know he obviously was, and a record-setting Fall Classic.
I mean, it's truly, knowing Freddie and everything he went through to get ready for those games had to be exhausting. And there were moments where Dave Roberts had to rescue Freddie from himself. And yet here in that postseason, he came up with huge hits.
Hits this ball hard down the line. If it's fair, it's tied. It is, and it is. 2-2 on a Freddie Freeman long ball. Speaking of October, Freddie Freeman.
Backdoor cutter, and it caught the front door of his swing. And there was no doubt about the distance. It was whether it was going to hook or not. Stays fair. And there is a lot of Dodger blue in this stadium.
Well, the roar for that home run was almost as loud, maybe just as loud as Higashioka's. Hernandez, first pitch, grounds to short for the first out. So Freddie Freeman with his 4th home run.
One of the things that I want to show you when we get some time about Nathan Eovaldi pitching out of the windup. What I love about the windup and the deception is he's still a throwback pitcher. You see the windup, even though he's got a little bit of a sidestep. But there are things you can do in this windup. His deception is going to be how he pauses with that front side. This is traditional right now. But watch what he can do in the Muncy on the right versus the left. Traditional and a little bit of a pause, and that timing and that pitch selection can mess with a hitter and his timing.
There's 1-1 to Michael Conforto. Gets a swing and a miss.
There's not many guys with a traditional lineup anymore. Everybody seems to kind of give in to the mechanical structure of short side steps, almost pitch out of the stretch, make it easier for guys to throw strikes.
Conforto with a base hit to center. Got that splitter up with 2 strikes, turned it around, and he's got his first hit of this series.
Split finger just sits right in the plate. There's no depth to it, and what I mean by depth, it has no downward action off that fastball. And to a hitter, it just becomes kind of a dead fish fastball is what they would say. It's a hittable speed pitch in the middle of the plate.
Nathan Eovaldi's been throwing that pitch for a few years ahead of his time because you're seeing so many other pitchers come around and throw it. One away for Will Smith, who takes a strike. Just 2 years ago, there were 11 starting pitchers that threw a splitter 10% of the time. This year, there's 25. And you go back a couple years before 23, there were only a small handful of guys who had threw one at all. You changed your career by adding that pitch.
Changed it. Left-handers just wore me out. Up until 1995, I was having a hard time being a 2.5 pitch pitcher. I threw a curveball, slider, a fastball, and then that split that went away from left-handers neutralized the manager being able to load up left-handers against me, and it was a game changer and a career changer for me.
Smith down on strikes on that splitter. Won the Cy Young that first year that you threw the pitch. And I know there's this, I think part of the reason why not many guys through it for the last couple of decades. It got this reputation that it caused injuries, but it doesn't have to, and it doesn't have to be that dig-in grit.
Right. There's a difference between a fork ball and a splitter. A fork ball, you're going to dig in more, and it's going to really have a lot of pressure to be able to throw that pitch, versus a splitter has less tension in between the fingers. And really, to a hitter, it's a nightmare. They'll tell you cannot pick up the spin, because it really doesn't spin. It tumbles. It gets to the plate and drops. And for the arm angle that Nathan Eovaldi has, it really has given him the opportunity to throw it to both left and right-handed hitters and change the trajectory of his career. Look, early in his career, he was giving up a lot of hard hit contact on 99-mile-an-hour fastballs. He could throw it hard. Nolan Ryan-esque, like lower body, but his release point was flat. He's changed some things in his mechanics, and when he's healthy, he's nasty.
From the same high school as Nolan Ryan, Elvin High School, down by Houston. Spins in a curve for a strike on Max Muncy. 14 years in the big leagues. All started with the Los Angeles Dodgers, who drafted him 17 years ago out of Elvin High. Dodgers to the Marlins and the Yankees and the Rays and the Red Sox. And now the Rangers in his third season here in Texas. Evolution. This is a much, to your point, much different pitcher than that first half of his career.
Well, he had a arm that could reach 100 miles an hour, but the statistics were not backing it up, so he had to do something to change. It was more hittable the way he threw it before. And what's unique about him, and the reason you got to be so strong, he doesn't have the traditional arm swing. He kind of drops it and goes, right? And sometimes that can be a velocity issue when you don't have the timing of your arm coming out of the glove the way you want. Your body gets out in front of your arm, your velocity goes down. When he gets his hand out and that kind of short arm action, he gets everything working in the direction that he wants. That's why he's become such a good strike thrower. And that's why now his secondary pitching is just as good as his fastball.
29 Ks to just 2 walks on the season. A rare 3-ball count for him here. Head start coming for Conforto as the payoff. Whoa, never mind. It's thrown over there to first with nobody home, and so Conforto easily takes second. Josh Smith over there at first base is playing his second game there of his life. And Eovaldi snapped around and tossed it without even checking.
Well, it freaked out Conforto, and I think it might even have hit him. No,
wow,
did it hit him?
I think it did.
So he was like, I don't think there's anyone behind me.
Dodgeball, he's out.
Yeah, hit him right in the numbers. That's good heads up by Conforto. I mean, I would have been checking the first baseman behind me.
Dodgers with a chance for the lead here. Muncy with 2 out, lifts a fly ball to right center field, carrying towards the gap. It is off the warning track, and it bounces over the wall. And one pitch after the throwing error moves Conforto into scoring position. Muncy brings him in with a double.
Well, that's huge, because he wouldn't have scored, because it would have been a ground rule double with a man on first. And that's the difference between a tie game with a runner at second and third, and now the Dodgers bounce back with 3 runs. And there's another flat splitter that Muncy was able to stay on the ball and hook it away from the center fielder.
More good signs for Max Muncy. Making his return to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 20 or 30 friends and family here watching him at all the games this weekend. And after a slow start, he's gotten it going this week.
And if there's one number that kind of has to go down for Eovaldi, it's really been with runners in scoring position. He's dominated everything else, but the runners in scoring position average against him has been a little bit higher than you would think with a guy that the kind of stuff he has.
Yeah, and his ability throughout his career to get out of those situations. That's so much of his identity. 2 gone in the 4th, and it's Rosario. Pokes one to left field, sends Harris back to the edge of the track. He's got it. And that's the inning. After the Rangers take the lead in the bottom of the 3rd, the Dodgers answer right back. It's Freddie Freeman with a game-tying home run. Just inside the pole to lock it at 2, and then Muncy's double puts him in front. Hiroki Sasaki, 11 pitching for the Dodgers. As soon as he gives up 2 runs, the offense gets him right back in front, and he starts Adolis García with a strike. Freddie Freeman's 4th of the season, and a 3-2 Dodger lead. Garcia grounded out his first time. Emotional leader of these Rangers, the fuel really. The energy that he plays with, we saw through the postseason 2 years ago. Knee was bugging him last year, wasn't himself, and when he's not himself, the Rangers are missing a key element of what drives him. On an 0-2. Somehow gets to it and stays alive.
Well, this is the kind of hitter that Sasaki, if he faced obviously all 3 swingers, you'd see a whole different type result. But what Sasaki's going to have to learn is that these are the kind of guys you don't have to throw a strike to with 2 strikes.
Fastball elevated to get him. 3rd for Sasaki.
And as he navigates this, he'll realize his fastball can still be a weapon. I understand a lot of the hits he's given up so far this year have been on the fastball, but you cannot let that affect you and abandon that pitch, because that pitch is going to be essential for his split and his slider to be more effective.
And with each game, command's been a little bit better. First 2 starts, he could not throw that fastball for a strike. Jack Peterson takes downstairs, ball 1. Peterson. Oops. I don't think that felt good on Mark Rippinger.
No, that was a crossfire fastball that the catcher had no chance to stop. The umpire is going to always be exposed on one side of the plate. See how he's exposed on the inside part? No chance, right? And that never is expected to happen. You can understand the foul tip off maybe the umpire, but not a thrown ball without the catcher getting a glove on it.
We've all stubbed our toe getting up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. How about if the edge of the bed was moving 95 miles per hour? Back to Sasaki. 2 out. Now you can stream MLB Network 24/7 for the entire season, plus get live audio for all 30 teams and no blackouts. Includes access to minor leagues, MLB Big Inning, and available pre- and post-game shows. Go to MLB.com/@bat for details. 2 gone in the 4th, and the hitter's Josh Young. Can they keep Josh Young healthy? When he's been healthy, he's delivered on the promise that he came with as a top 10 draft pick. All-star in his lone healthy season, 2023.
Good fastball hitter, and obviously, to your point, the health being the biggest concern. Getting off to a nice start in 2025.
Checked his swing, 2-1. Had freak injuries coming up. 4 seasons in the minors after he was drafted, and he played a total of 150 games. Just one thing after another. And then he has the great rookie season, misses most of last year with a broken wrist, another poor luck injury. Already this year, while he's been good, he had an IL stint because of neck spasms.
Got to be careful here if you're Sasaki on a 3-1 fastball. Don't leave it over the middle part of the plate or middle in.
Oh, put it right where he said not to. Got away with it.
Man, yeah. He set up away, and again, that fastball was right in the nitro zone. He just got the barrel underneath it.
Josh Young is 0 for 22 this year with 2 strikes. Sasaki home with a payoff. Driven the other way. Teoscar Hernandez goes back on it, and a leaping catch on the warning track. Finish off a 1-2-3-4 for Sasaki. Manager of the Dodgers for Dave Roberts, his team with a 3-2 lead. They've already matched last night's hit total as they try to get their 5th consecutive win. And try to make it back-to-back titles. Try to become the first team to repeat since the New York Yankees won 3 in a row, 98 through 2000. 9-1-2 for the Dodgers in the 5th against Nathan Eovaldi. It's Andy Pages slapping the first pitch foul.
Eovaldi has picked up his fastball usage over 50%, and I think a big part of that is the Dodgers are pretty patient. So he's kind of gone a little bit more against the norm on his normal breakdown, and 9 of the first 17 pitches have been fastballs as he buries a fastball in to get ahead.
Longtime pitching coach Mike Maddox been doing it forever and got his first ring 2 years ago. Pages grounds this one to Josh Young, sizes it up and throws him out. 1 gone in his 5th inning. Back to the top of the order and Tommy Edman. Time for Above and Beyond, sponsored by Jersey Mike's. Edman last season, championship series MVP, seemed like he was on base every time he came up. Some huge swings for him, signed the extension. In a lot of ways, the perfect player when you're looking at what this front office desires, the way these rosters have been put together. Yeah, you've got the superstars, but guys like this that hold it all together, that can play anywhere and play it well.
Yeah, I mean, there for a while, the Dodgers of the past had maybe more platoon type players than their roster would indicate, right? When you think of Dodgers, you think of stars, but now this guy is so valuable in so many different ways that he's become a star and a rising star, and they finally got their man.
Been trying to trade for him for years. He said he didn't know that until he got to LA and heard a couple people talking about it. But that was a big deal to him to say, wait a minute, so they really like my game. This isn't just something where they're trading for a guy for a month cameo. They like what I do, and said that gave him that foundation of confidence right away with his new teammates and his new team. Southern California guy out of La Jolla, down near San Diego. On a 2-1 from Eovaldi. Edman takes outside, ball 3.
Well, besides the narrative all year going to be, can the Dodgers defend and repeat? Part of the narrative is the kind of money they've spent to get the roster to have an opportunity to defend and be back-to-back champions. And look, you got to give the organization credit. When they went out and they saw people they wanted, they went out and got them, spent a lot of money, and now they're the target. And the whole league is going to obviously, whenever you're the defending champ, you get the best of every team that walks into your park or they walk into your park, and that's what the bullseye is going to be on the Dodgers.
Swatted to the left, and Harris, did you feel that after your championship? I mean, we see now it's been 25 years since a team has repeated.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, bad news for us. We went back to a few more, but we weren't able to win. And in '96, we were going to be defending champs. We had that one right in our grasp. And talking to Dave Roberts, I believe he has the patience for a team that has the expectation like this team does to not panic if they're not playing great in a 10-game stretch. But I promise you, come June, if he needs to push the envelope and get these guys and crack the whip, he will. But this is a professional team that's been through a lot, and I would expect nothing but this ascending type year and well over 100 wins.
Betts, who singled and scored in the Freeman home run, takes a strike, 1-1.
If there's one issue that might be the narrative they have to change as an organization, is can they keep their pitchers healthy? They have a lot of them. And is the timing of all those pitchers going to be an absolute struggle for some of those guys that do stay healthy, pitch once every 6 or 7 days? That narrative and that man, when he comes back, which made a rehab start, they're going to have a ton of choices. I find it fascinating to see how they're going to navigate those choices.
Betts down swinging, and a good curveball from Eovaldi. We're halfway home in Texas. Matchup of the last 2 champs in a 1-run game. Most efficient that Roki Sasaki's been. Johnny came in averaging about 20 pitches per inning. He's at 56 over 4 innings here. And he goes to work against the bottom of the Texas lineup. Popped out of his hand, ball one.
Well, a big reason is 73% until that pitch. First pitch strike, as compared to in the season about 50% first pitch strike.
Changes the mood of the whole day, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, and you know, obviously anybody can look them up, but when he goes and changes the at bat to getting ahead, I mean, the numbers work in his favor. He doesn't give up a lot of hits right now because he's nasty and has walked too many guys, so they're gonna even themselves out.
One ball, two strikes on the rookie Dustin Harris. Got him to chase a splitter, and Sasaki with his 4th K. For more on Roki, down to Kenny.
Guys, you mentioned that this is quite an unusual performance for him based on what we've seen so far. You mentioned the command. Well, also, the rap on Sasaki has been no third pitch to go with the 4-seam fastball and the split. Today, he's thrown 20 sliders. That's the most we've seen. It's as much as he's used any pitch today. And finally, the velocity, it's picked up the last inning.
Higashioka gets it by Betts, and he's been his kryptonite today. He's got the 2-run home run, and now he's got a single. Those are the 2 hits that Texas has, both courtesy of their catcher.
Almost the same pitch that he hit a homer on. He gets a base hit. Past Mookie Betts. Hard for me to still say that.
Him playing short?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's never happened. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, where a guy has played that long in right field and then come into short. There's been guys that have gone the other way, but not this way. Came in, played second base for a little while, and then days before the start of last year, he said, okay, I'm going to move to short because Gavin Lux was struggling there. And last year was a crash course, a cram session. He hadn't played short since he was in high school in Tennessee, and he said it was basically just trying to hold on, and then he gets hurt. He's out for a good chunk of the summer. By the way, at that point, he was right there with Ohtani in the MVP discussion and just couldn't sleep at night, picturing himself making these mistakes in the biggest games, and so he put it on pause. As Taveras flies this ball to left center field, Pa has the call. Conforto there as well, and he's got it. 2 out. Even when he put it on pause, though, he told some people with the Dodgers, he said, for now, this offseason, we're going to start this again when I've got a little more time to do this the right way, not cram and take as many ground balls as I can every single day. We're going to do this again, and he's going to do what he loves most, and that is tackle a big challenge that people don't think he's capable of. 2 out for Simeon. Two 2-0. There's action in that Dodger bullpen. Jack Dreyer has started to warm. Sasaki just 66 pitches. Simeon is 0 for 2 today, down to 137 for the year. Pinpoint, 2-1.
See, he has the arm action. It's a quick arm action. When he times his arm action with his delivery, he's going to get on a roll. That 96, 97 will stay on plane. Earlier today, he had a couple fastballs flat, trying to find the strike zone. Maybe that was part of his game plan tonight. But see how those last 2 fastballs had a little bit more miles per hour. I'd love to see him be able to pitch like that when he needs it, instead of trying to pitch like that from start 1. And I know that's contrary to what they're asking the pitchers to do, but he's got such a unique skill set. I think its only room is to go up and better.
Pop fly left center field. Here comes Conforto. He's there, and that's the inning. Just the one big swing against Sasaki today, who's through 5, and the guy that got him back into a tie game will lead things off. Freeman went deep his last time. Leads off the 6th when you come back. back here in Texas. We're in Arlington, Texas. Home of the Rangers. Home of barbecue, Bulls, and big. Freddie Freeman, 2-run home run to tie the game in the 4th inning. Leads off this 6th against Nathan Eovaldi. And takes inside, ball 1. You said it, Freddie's first at bat. You can't get him out the same way twice. No. And Eovaldi got a cutter by him to strike him out in the 1st inning. Tried to throw the same pitch.
Yep.
Bang.
And that's what made facing guys like Freddie Freeman so much fun for the cat and mouse, because it's easier to pitch to a guy that doesn't deviate or change, and if you make your pitches, he's going to swing and miss. Not Freddie. Woo. That's just a great pitch. Freddie knew it, but if he goes right back in there, his ability to get that bat on the ball and foul it off is second to none. Now he will swing over the top of a breaking ball, as I mentioned earlier. Haven't seen that pitch yet from Eovaldi. There it was. Just a little bit lower, and you get Freddie looking down there. But the home run was a pitch that didn't get quite in the spot. The backdoor cutter that stayed fair.
Long gone. Freddie Freeman doesn't often hit him that far. On this 1-2 from Eovaldi, Freeman grounds it along first and foul. 35 years old in his 16th year, 12 years in Atlanta. Figured that'd be the only place that he'd ever play. Time has flown. He's in his 4th year with the Dodgers. First 3 years, the numbers even better than they were in Atlanta. All capped off with what he did last October. His spot in Dodger history and baseball history secure. Leading off this 6th, then down on a splitter. 7K for Eovaldi.
Well, he wanted it away, and this splitter cut in and fooled Freddie. And you won't get that kind of reaction when you miss your spot that much by a great hitter, but it fooled him.
It's now a 31-2 strikeout to walk ratio for Nathan Eovaldi this year. Hernandez. That's sue for lack of run support, though. 6 total runs of support in his 5 starts.
He had to feel like when he had that 2-0 lead, it had to be 8-0 in his mind. And a pitcher will tell you, if you can keep the game close and give me a 1-run lead going into the 6th inning and then score some runs, that would be great. But it is tough when pitchers go through stretches. You try to pitch perfect, and the veterans realize there's nothing I can do about the run support. I'm going to pitch my game. But it's human nature to want to always win 1-0 or never give up a run.
Woo. Only way he's been able to get a win this year was to just handle the whole game himself in the 1-0 shutout.
1-0, yeah, in Cincinnati.
Not an easy place to do it. Here's his 1-2 to Teoscar Hernandez. Bounced over the mound. Simeon waits and gets him 2 out. For more on Nathan Eovaldi, back down to Kenny.
John, we talk all the time about max effort pitching, right? Well, here's Nathan Eovaldi, down 2 miles per hour on his 4-seam fastball for the year going into today, and he's performing at as high a level as he has always done. Why? Because he has that pitchability.
No doubt. And right there, he used a quick pitch in that pitchability to kind of surprise Hernandez, and I just love that he does everything on the mound to be effective and progress. Now he's well into his career, so he's learned from the past. He's learned from the things that chucking it 100 doesn't work, and he's become more of a complete pitcher.
Base is empty, 2 out. Conforto's up there. Fastball's a little bit inside. It's the picture of a guy who's comfortable out there doing the things like you're talking him, changing the delivery a little bit, the quick pitch here and there. Hardly sweats. Comfortable and in control in his 14th year. Fires 0-1. Backdoors that curve. Strike 2.
Well, he has such great lower half of his delivery that allows that ball to spin and pop out of his hand. Late break, catch the back door. And now he can make the splitter go away if he wants after the Conforto saw a ball out away coming back over the plate. Now he could see one going away from the plate.
Conforto had a base hit his last time. Took second on a throwing error from Eovaldi, and one pitch later, Max Muncy doubled him in to give the Dodgers the lead. Since that double, 6 in a row retired by Eovaldi, who's home with another 1-2. Lays off the high cutter.
Who knows? Maybe future in our game. The challenge system might come in. Might see some at-bats change in crucial situations.
Being tried out in AAA this year. Hopefully we never get to the point where it is all ABS, automatic ball strike.
Please no.
Yeah, I think we're safe. I don't think that anybody is liking that because they tried that system out as well. So if you're unfamiliar with it, picture basically what you see in tennis. Yeah, Hawkeye technology, zoom in on the line. You're going to have that and a couple challenges per game. They're refining the system in the minors this year. They're probably coming to the big leagues in a short time. Another 2-2 and a bounce to the first. Smith charges and steps on the bag. And the top of the 6th in a 1-run game. It'll be Corey Seager to lead things off for the Rangers, trying to do it to his old team. Back in a moment. Continues to climb up that ladder. Went 4 innings against the Phillies 2 starts ago. 5 innings for the first time against the Cubs, and now into the 6th for the first time. Corey Seager takes strike 1.
And I think this is huge. I know the Dodgers want to win a lot of baseball games, but they also got to develop some of these guys to be able to understand how to navigate a game and not just be okay with 5 innings.
Seager cracks this one in the air to center field, but he gets under it. Andy Pages, 1 out. And the whole idea, and this is going back, you know, as the game has changed a couple decades, has been trying to protect pitchers. But what we're finding is pitchers are getting hurt more than ever. And so
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if you treat each game differently, that's the best way to protect pitchers. Because this game has had little stress, right? He gave up 1 hit, a 2-run homer. That's the result of the 2 runs. He's been in command with the strike zone for the most part. And this is a great opportunity to learn how to navigate this style of pitching, because bullpens don't do it. Pitching 5 innings every single time doesn't do it. And he's only got 72 pitches. So
and saying 100 pitches doesn't do it every time.
Absolutely.
Back to your point about this being low stress, it's a lot different 72 pitches than in his major league debut where there was traffic the whole game. 0-1 to Josh Smith.
Last year, and it's partly due to why the Dodgers are still waiting for some bullpen guys, and they've made some changes, gone out some bullpen. Their bullpen was exhausted. I mean, beaten up, and the reason they won the World Series. But there has and will be carryover effect as this year goes on, and they know that, because you can't expect those guys to eat up the percentage of innings that baseball is expecting those guys to eat up. You got to have some starters that pitch and carry their weight, and they have a whole slew of them, but that still have to pitch those innings. And I would say this:
that's a walk for Smith.
The same narrative goes, just because you get more rest doesn't mean that's going to be safer for you either. That's an easy thought to have, but if you're a max effort, get after it type guy, and you get more rest, you're going to want to do that even more in your start, knowing you got more rest.
So is max effort the root problem?
Absolutely. Spin rate and max effort to the tilt is a big reason why we have the problems we do with injuries.
Tying one aboard here in the form of Josh Smith, who's got good wheels. And Adolis García at the plate. 3-2 game, bottom of the 6th. To your point about the load the bullpen carried last year, nobody carried more of it than Blake Trinan. He today was placed on the injured list, going to have to undergo some imaging on his arm. And Evan Phillips activated today, but he missed the first month. Minor tear, I guess no tear of your rotator cuff is minor, but a small tear that waited on to heal. They're still waiting on Michael Kopech to come back from some forearm inflammation. To short on a bounce for Betts. There's Edman for one. There's the double play. And there's 6 innings for Roki Sasaki for the first time in the big leagues. Saturday, 2 of the best in the National League, the Phillies and the Cubs. The Rangers will be back on Fox, taking on the Giants, one of the big surprises early on in the National League. That'll be at 4 o'clock Eastern on Fox. To the 7th inning we go, into the Texas bullpen. Robert Garcia for Will Smith.
Fastball, changeup, slider. He likes that changeup. Nathan Eovaldi, a little bit hard luck again. No walks, 7 strikeouts, 1 bad pitch to Freddie Freeman that tied the game up, and then 1 bad pickoff move allowed the runner to go to second and score on the next batter.
Garcia, who they got in the trade for Nathaniel Lowe from Washington, misses away. 2-0 on Will Smith. The top 8 relievers from last year for the Rangers are all gone. Bruce Bochy said he got to spring training. He's like, wow, this is different. It took him some time before he learned his guys. A bunch of 1-year deals that they signed veterans to, and then this trade that they made. Boch was saying that pretty quickly. He said, yeah, these guys look good. Helped carry him first few days of the season. And have only given up 2 runs over the last 5 games. A lot of these guys trying to make their case on 1-year deals and impressing so far. Although a 4-pitch walk opens up this 7th, Smith will get first, and we get Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Chris Young, the general manager of the Rangers, said one of the things the team did was study other organizations and how they rebuild bullpens on the cheap, because that's essentially what the Rangers wanted to do. They lost David Robertson, Kirby Yates now at the Dodgers, Jose Leclerc, deadline addition Andrew Chafin, and the others you mentioned, Joe. And they ended up signing 5 major league free agents and acquiring Garcia in the Nathaniel Lowe trade. And so far, so good. That last at bat aside, the relievers they have attacked the strike zone. Entered today 4th in walk rate.
Yeah, and that was the biggest goal, Kenny, to your point, as they took the information from other organizations. What should we put this bullpen together and have the priority be? And guys that attack the zone, don't walk hitters at the top of that list. 0-2 on Max Muncy. There's double in the 5th, or in the 4th, the difference in this game. The 1-2 from Garcia. Muncy takes strike 3. So a walk and a K to open this inning for Garcia.
That's his money pitch. He loves going away. A big portion of his strikeouts are going to be on that pitch away.
Something that always brings a big roar of the crowd. Kike Hernandez introduced. Up there is a pinch hitter for Eddie Rosario. Hernandez has had a weird year so far. He's got 4 home runs, but he's only got 6 hits total. He's 6 for 49, but 4 of those 6 hits have left the yard. And a different guy in the postseason through the years. Keeps on coming back to the Dodgers. Back on another short-term deal last minute this offseason. You think back to last October without the injuries that we've touched on, Freddie Freeman and then Miguel Rojas. He probably hardly sees the lineup, but winds up contributing in a big way once again. He's got the biggest increase in slugging percentage of any player ever from regular season to postseason. Change for a strike.
Dave Roberts talks about how interesting of a player he is. Sometimes he does get a little bored with the regular season, but not when the games get bigger or brighter.
33 years of age. It's his 12th year in the big leagues, 9th year with the Dodgers. Went away for a few years to Boston. 229 in the regular season for his career, 294 in the postseason with all kinds of power. 15 postseason home runs after the 2 that he hit last year. When you look at his line, it's almost identical in the postseason to Mr. October Reggie Jackson. Across the board, Kike Hernandez has morphed into him. The games have mattered most. Smith at first, one away. 1-2 pitch from Robert Garcia. Will that be after a throw over, and they've got Smith. 2 out.
Perfectly timed choice to go over to first. Of course, you can only do that twice. And if you go a third time, you've got to get him. Otherwise, he gets to go to second base. I would think Kike Hernandez right here is going to have to fight off a changeup. Struggles this year on off-speed pitching. Went fastball away and painted it away.
Stays alive for this 2-2. Drilled to center field. Taveras on the run. Leody Taveras can't get it. It's off his glove. Hernandez into second.
Taveras might be a little surprised he didn't catch this ball. And he goes back and he takes the angle you got to take. Let's see what happens at the end. He kind of jumps and maybe a little nervous of the wall, but doesn't come up with it.
You know, and John, part of the reason the Rangers are still winning games even though they're not hitting is the defense has been sharp, but it's deserted them today. The pickoff error that led to the go-ahead run, and now this error, or at least misplay, keeps the inning going for Pages. That is a "Let's Go Dodgers" chant here in Arlington.
Yeah, the blue can be confusing because both teams really have blues.
Same shade. Both blue and both gold the last 2 years. Last 2 champions. Rangers in 23, the Dodgers last year. 3-0 Dodgers last night. 3-2 they lead this one. 0-2 to Pages. Backdoor strike 3. Garcia gets out of it, and we stretch in a 1-run game. Houston, the Stallions and the Roughnecks, and then tomorrow San Antonio against DC. Live football all weekend right here on Fox. Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, go to playball.org and follow @playball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. 2-run home run from Kyle Higashioka had the Rangers in front in the 3rd inning, but the Dodgers getting 3 runs in the top of the 4th, and that's where this game stands as we go to the bottom of the 7th. 2-run home run from Freddie Freeman, and then a throwing error with 2 outs that opened the door for Max Muncy to drive in Michael Conforto. Break that tie. Here's Freeman's home run that came against Eovaldi.
Yeah, like we said at the time, the only question was, would it stay fair? Freddie got a glimpse and then ran the bases. And then this throw, really, unfortunately for Eovaldi, the ground rule double would have not scored the runner, but that's exactly what Muncy was able to deliver after that, and that is your score.
How about this left-hander, this rookie? Jack Dreyer has been a huge part of the equation in the Dodger bullpen. In his debut in Tokyo, he gave up a run, but 1 hit over 11 shutout innings since then. For more on Dreyer, down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Jack Dreyer's father, Steve, made a very memorable Major League debut for none other than the Texas Rangers on August 8, 1993. His opponent that day for his debut, Randy Johnson. And Steve threw 5 scoreless innings, but it was a little bit of a mess. 6 walks, 5 hits allowed, but he got out of it. And what was also memorable about that game, Randy Johnson got ejected, Lou Piniella got ejected, and the Rangers ended up winners.
First pitch from his boy, Jack. Spins in for a strike on Jake Berger. Pinch hitting for Jock Peterson. Jack says his dad has told him that story many times. Told him the story of all the bad words that he heard coming out of Lou Piniella and Randy Johnson, who could cuss for the best of them. No balls and 2 strikes. Jack, undrafted out of Iowa a few years ago. Part of it was injury concerns, but he has made huge leaps and has come really from off the radar to be a key piece of this bullpen. Here's his 0-2 to Berger.
Well, the biggest part of his equation so far early in the year, 0 for 18 against his 4-seam fastball. And it's not one of those 4-seam fastballs you would go, oh, that's 100 miles an hour. I understand it. He's not afraid to throw it, and the deception of his mechanics gives a whole different perception to the hitter when they see the 4-seam fastball.
Evan Phillips getting ready for his season debut. 1-2. This is up. The Dodger bullpen, as expected, has been excellent. There's one game where they gave up 15 runs, and part of that was Rojas was pitching, but a 2.20 ERA otherwise.
Yeah, so that shouldn't count for a bullpen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Straight up. And Berger's issues continue. Muncy there to catch it.
Yeah, we got to fix that in the stat department. It makes no sense. It's a position player pitching, which in and of itself, don't get me started on that,
yeah,
shouldn't count towards your team bullpen ERA.
Yeah, I'm with you. Rojas is like, hey, this talk is not good. I'm going to hide behind my guys here. In a 3-2 game, Josh Young takes inside ball 1. Young's 0 for 2 today. Rangers only 2 runs in these 2 games, just a notch below their per game average, down near the bottom of the major leagues. 1 ball, 1 strike. Career best 6 innings from Roki Sasaki after Yamamoto went 7 innings yesterday. Bouncing ball to straightaway short, and Mookie Betts. Yamamoto so far looks like best pitcher in baseball.
He sure does, and he showed what he could do when he turned it up last season in the postseason, and he made the adjustments after kind of a wonky start. He has carried that over into this year, and very well looks like the ace of a very deep pitching staff for the Dodgers.
National League best, 0.93 ERA for Yamamoto. 2 up and 2 down for Dreyer here in the 7th. The hitter's Dustin Harris. First pitch curve misses. Walk and a run scored for Harris back in the 3rd. Came up, played a couple games last year. In his major league debut right away, Bruce Bochy said he caught his eye, was impressed with his presence, and never seemed too sped up, never seemed too bothered. He's kept on going with that this spring, and started the season in AAA, came up because of the injuries. Good looking piece they have here. Dodger pen taken over here in the 7th. Number 1 in the majors in several categories, including strikeouts. Key with the defense being one of the only question marks for this team. Keep the ball out of play. Don't worry about the defense. Routine for Andy Pages and routine for Jack Dreyer. managers today go way back. Dave Roberts, as an outfielder, played for Bruce Bochy in both San Diego and in San Francisco, and then years of managing against each other in the National League West. And one of baseball's great rivalries, the Dodgers and the Giants, and mutual respect. Those guys catching up before the game today. Assistant General Manager Jeff Kingston of the Dodgers there. Tommy Edman leads off, takes the ball from Jacob Webb. Two guys headed for the Hall of Fame as managers. Webb, another one of those guys here on a short contract, from Atlanta to Arizona to the Angels to the Orioles. Now his first year in Texas, facing the top of the Dodger order, and Tommy Edman rolls over to second. His counterpart Marcus Semien for the first out. You've got Bochy, who's won 4 titles. Dave Roberts getting his second last year. How about Dave Roberts has already racked up, and part of this is there are more postseason games now than there were the first half of Bochy's career, but still seeing that he's already within 1 win of Bruce Bochy's career total in the postseason.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing run that both Bochy and now currently Dave Roberts is on. And really an amazing return when you think about being retired, sitting at home, and then Chris Young going, I think I want to see if he'll come back. And what a perfect timing that was.
Because Bruce is sitting there thinking, maybe I want to get back. He had just managed the French national team in the WBC qualifiers, and he said, thank goodness Chris didn't watch us at all because we weren't very good. Betts fouls this one off, 2-1. Sold him on the idea of, hey, we're ready to win now. We're going to continue to invest. Rangers have been really bad for several years. But he said, this is not a project. Come here, win now. And they did in the grandest fashion, winning the first World Championship in franchise history in that first year. Betts sends this one in the air to right. Back goes Adolis García for out number 2.
And really, the West is probably the most up for grabs it's ever been. You got the Astros, who have changed a little bit of their personnel. They still have the DNA of being the team that has kind of held that division for the most part over the last 9-10 years. And I think you got an upstart Seattle every year, the same conversation. Can they score? Because they can pitch. And then the Angels with a surprise start to the season. I don't think there was much expected of them with what they've lost.
A's making a little bit of noise. They got the major league home run leader, Tyler Soderstrom. Freeman bounces this ball to Semien, and Jacob Webb, a lightning quick 8th. Find your push, find your power. Freddie Freeman found his. The Dodgers found theirs last year, beating the New York Yankees for their first full season title in 36 years. And setting their sights on a repeat. And how about what Dave Roberts must think of this guy right here, John? Evan Phillips, his season debut, tosses him out there in a 1-run game in the 8th inning.
He's been nasty, especially last year for the Dodgers. And here we go, right? First time getting in, and in a tight game in the 8th.
And this has been the guy today for the Rangers. Kyle Higashioka is 2 for 2 with a home run. Rest of the team is 0 for 20. Higashioka, Taveras, and then back to the top in Semien. 30-year-old Evan Phillips, who was cast off by multiple organizations. Struggled with the Orioles. They let him go. Braves for a short time. Rays for an even shorter time. Dodgers pick him up in August of 2021. And he's been one of the top relievers in baseball. Now in his 5th year with the team. Speeds his fastball in there. Hit foul 1-2. 5 games in the division series and the championship series last year. Did not give up a run. He missed the World Series because of the shoulder issue that caused him to miss the first month of the season. But full body work in the postseason in his career. 15 1/3 innings, no runs. His 1-2 pitch. Strikes out Higashioka. And he looks like he's in midseason form with that video game-like slider.
He's got electric stuff, and you wonder what happened to make him click. And the Dodgers are benefiting from whatever that is that he has figured out, because short to the plate, the fastball plays, the breaking ball spins. It's a great combination.
That's the pitch right there that he's rode. 155 average against that pitch since he came to the Dodgers. It's his most used pitch. Upstairs with the first one to Taveras. First 7 innings from rookies today. 6 from Sasaki. Last inning from Dreyer. And now the veteran Phillips. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You see, that's the pitch I think that really surprises a lot of the hitters, is how quick that fastball gets on the batter. I mean, this ball just is by him, and it's 95. There's nothing to sneeze at, but it's quick.
Taveras shows bunt, takes a strike. Even with Muncy on the grass over at third. Alex Vesia is getting ready. And Blake Treinen placed on the injured list today. Tanner Scott, the closer for the Dodgers, although several guys down there with closing experience. And one of them right here. In fact, when the Dodgers have their full complement of relievers, and they're getting closer to it, although losing Treinen today, but when you have all the guys available that they have, you've got 5 guys with significant closing experience. 7 relievers combined last year. The guys they have down there currently, 96 saves when you put them all together. And a strikeout. 2 gone in the 8th as he's K'd the first 2 hitters that he's faced.
Well, that's why it's easy to say they got the best bullpen in all of baseball when healthy, and they can shut you down and preserve all those leads that they're going to have during the year. That's why they're going to win a lot of games. But it all boils down to staying healthy. If they stay healthy, the formula's pretty simple for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Getting Phillips back today. Kopech to come at some point before too long. Simeon fouls off the first pitch. Different day, same story for the Rangers. Good pitching. Eovaldi went 6, but 2 runs on just 2 hits. 0-2. Evan Phillips activated a couple days early with Treinen going down today. And as sharp as can be. Left side and through. Simeon with a 2-out hit on an 0-2 pitch. And that gets Corey Seager to the plate.
And that's going to bring Dave Roberts up to the mound.
So it'll be Alex Vesia to come on for Phillips, who makes his season debut, strikes out the first 2 hitters that he faces, and then gives up the single to Marcus Simeon. So here comes Vesia for one of the game's best in Corey Seager in a 3-2 game. The 2-time MVP's done it for both of these clubs. Coming to the plate, representing the go-ahead run when you come back. Corey Seager against Alex Vesia, whose first pitch missed away. 1 ball, no strikes. Tying run at first. Go ahead run at the plate as the game finds the Rangers' best player. Vesia's 1-0. Seager takes strike 1 on a very generous outside corner.
Seager's asking him. That had to be outside. And it was.
Vesia's faced Seager 1 time. Seager took him deep 2 years ago in this park. On the 1-1 pitch, fouls it off, and it's 1-2.
Well, if Vesia's going to go to a breaking ball, it better be a good one. It cannot roll in the strike zone against Corey Seager. He already got the generous. I would put a lot of pressure on him and go away. See if you can get the umpire and Seager aggressive away. I'm always amazed that pitchers don't expose that side of the plate that they get that inches off, and just, you got the count in your favor, you can just expand the zone.
Here he comes at the 1-2. Goes back out there, and Seager takes it. Count evens up. So many big swings through the years for this guy. Good lead for Simeon. 2-2 pitch. Seager sends it foul. On another 2-2, Seager fouls it into the glove, strike 3. Vesia comes on and gets the superstar Seager and keeps the Dodgers ahead 3-2. Into the 9th inning we go in a 1-run game. Jacob Webb stays in and delivers ball 1 to Teoscar Hernandez. This was the situation yesterday going into the top of the 9th. Dodgers were up 1-0. They got a couple runs of cushion. Got out of there with a 3-0 win. Texas unbeaten in 1-run games this year. 2-0 on Hernandez. For the Rangers in the bottom of the 9th, Smith, Garcia, and Berger. And it's Kirby Yates that started to warm down in the Dodger bullpen. It was Tanner Scott yesterday. We were just talking about the depth, not just in good pitchers, but in legit closers the Dodgers have down there. Dave Roberts can have his closer down and have a whole handful of guys to pick from.
Well, Yates is familiar with this ballpark. He more than likely is going to face his former team.
A scoreless inning in yesterday's game. 33 out of 34 in saves last year for Texas, his lone year here. 2-2 on Teoscar Hernandez, who swings and misses at a changeup. Your team, your players, baseball your way. Get personalized highlights and push notifications just for you. You can download the MLB app today. Pitching matchups that are fitting for marquee matchup this weekend. The last 2 champions. DeGrom was great last night against Yamamoto. Sasaki and Evaldi today. Tomorrow to be Tyler Glasnow and Tyler Mahle, who's off to quietly an excellent start for the Rangers. Top starting staff in terms of ERA so far in the American League. Ball and a strike on Conforto, whose run back in the 4th is still the difference in this game. Singled with 1 out, took second on a throwing error from Evaldi, and scored on a Muncy double. On a 2-1 from Webb, he takes strike 2.
High changeup.
He's thinking, I want to yell at you. Instead, I'm going to take time. Take a breath. Mark Rippinger, by the way, has on his resume this year a perfect game of balls and strikes. So the computer said. Lifted to right field. Adolis Garcia on the run, and he makes the play. Garcia, who won a Gold Glove a couple years ago, diminished by the knee issue last year, looks a whole lot healthier so far in 25.
Yeah, great play here. Might have felt better diving on the turf and the gravel.
Two gone in the ninth. Here's Will Smith. Strike one from Webb. Smith looking for his first hit of this series. 0 for 2 with a walk today. Dodger catcher who's locked up long term. Swings and misses, and it's 0-2.
Well, he's in good rhythm with his secondary pitches. Since coming over to the Rangers, they've thrown more changeups percentage-wise than he has in his career. 2 breaking balls there.
Facing his hometown team here, Riverside Poly Product. There's a check swing, roller over to first, fielded by Smith. And it'll be Josh Smith that's going to lead off the bottom of the ninth inning. Fasten those seatbelts in a 3-2 game. Smith, Garcia, and Berger coming up. Say, oh man, we know what the deal is with this guy. He was the best reliever in baseball last year with the Texas Rangers. A resurgent year after years of dealing with injuries. He's continued it with the Dodgers. And a year after getting 33 saves for Texas, he's got a chance to get his first one as a Dodger and to get it against his old team. He's got a new left fielder as Chris Taylor replaces Michael Conforto. For the Rangers here in the bottom of the ninth, 3, 4, and 5, Smith, Garcia, and Berger. Kirby Yates has faced 40 hitters this year. He's struck out 20 of them, including 2 of them in a 1-2-3 inning last night. Strike one on Smith. Smith 0 for 3 today, 0 for 2 today. .38-year-old Kirby Yates, home with an 0-1. It's another guy with a splitter.
That splitter is what he throws a lot, and that splitter is what has given the Rangers fits in this series. They have really struggled against that pitch and expect Yates to throw a bunch of them here in the ninth. That one cut.
Yates home with an 0-2, and it is golf to right field down the line. Hernandez over to the corner. Just foul. Josh Smith that close to tying the game. Wow.
Well, another one that's stayed in the middle, and you see he's pulled 2 of those splitters that are not supposed to be at that part. And the body English and the relief.
Bruce Bochy out there asking the umpires to take a look at this. Our first look at it looked like it was pretty safely foul. It didn't feel that way though for Kirby Yates and the Dodgers as that thing floated down there. And so they have confirmed the call. No balls and 2 strikes on Josh Smith. One of the bright spots for the struggling Texas lineup.
And Kirby's going to have to stay behind that splitter to make it go the other way to keep it out of the middle of the plate.
But to your point about the Rangers struggling with splitters this weekend, they're 0 for 16, 8 Ks against that pitch. Seems like everybody they're facing has one. Here it comes. Poked down the line and a base hit the other way. Smith is headed for second. He's got a leadoff double. Tying run in scoring position just like that. So he hooks one down the right field line, and then 1 pitch later pokes one the other way.
It's still flat. See how it stays right there, and he goes with it. That's great hitting. That is not a guy going up to just pull. He's got the whole left side of the field. No third baseman. They're shifting him over. Easy double. And now the Rangers are in business looking to tie and possibly take the lead with one swing of the bat.
Adolis García takes in tight, ball one. Postseason hero of 2 years ago with his 5 home runs in the championship series and his walk-off home run in Game 1 of the World Series. 3 homers so far this year. On a 1-0 from Yates, Adolis out in front. Found that splitter right there to even the count.
Well, it's the right hitter to be at the plate for Yates, because you don't look for him to go the other way. Typically, he's looking to lift the ball and get it in the air for a deep fly ball. So that change of speed really had him way out in front.
Unbeaten in 1-run games this year. Back to the start of last year. Second best in the majors. Tying run at second. Nobody out, bottom of the 9th. 1-1 from Yates. Is hit hard to deep left center field. Adolis García with a walk-off home run. On a tee.
Fastball right there. And this crowd responded.
He was there to meet the moment every time the Rangers needed him during the championship run 2 years ago. And big part of what was missing last year was his spirit, his energy, as he was diminished by the knee issue. Healthy again, and that's some of the magic that he brought 2 years ago right there. Walk-off home run for Adolis García. The 5th of his career. And so the Rangers have tied this series at a game apiece. 4-3 the final. They stay perfect in 1-run games. They turn it around in the 9th inning from down 3-2 to win it 4-3 on the Garcia walk-off home run. Other side of the break, Kevin Burkhardt and the D-Train, Dontrell Willis, will have you in studio for post-game coverage, get you up to date on everything going on across baseball. 4-3 the final. Adolis the hero. Stay tuned, plenty more coming on Fox.